couple of weeks ago, we watched the first photos sent from the surface of Mars by Perseverance, NASA's latest landing rover to reach our nearest planet. I felt delight in the success of the project and pride that human beings are capable of this. It was accompanied by wonder at the universe and the laws that make it worth exploring and able to be figured out. Growing up, I remember joyfully observing the Milky Way in the summer night sky, as well as the lightning bugs flickering on and off around me. In fact, our psalmist praises God, the Creator, who made the heavens, the moon and the stars and the planets. Nature points us to the one from whom all things come. At university, when I was studying physics and astronomy, I was awed by the laws that govern the universe, the mathematical understanding that enables us to work with our world. It caused me to marvel at the one who designed it and made it. Science and religion are siblings, both ways of asking fundamental questions about the meaning of life. We're often filled with awe as we come face to face with nature. The mountains are so tall, and the sea is so boundless, and we feel insignificant, minute by comparison. And yet, the psalmist said God made human beings little lower than the angels. We are made in his image. If we forget who God is, we may forget how small we are and seek to dominate the world God has given us to look after. We have a vocation to work as God's agents, but we are inclined to abuse that power. To leave God out invites disaster, including ecological disaster. But instead, let us marvel at the universe and its creator. And after the next song, we will explore Psalm 8 further and our role in creation. As I studied Psalm 8 in preparation for today, I learned that parts of it are woven into both the book of Job in the Old Testament and the letter to the Hebrews in the New Testament. They both wrestle with the place of human beings within the created order. In his suffering, Job wanted God to leave him alone. What are human beings that you make so much of them, that you set your mind on them? Let me alone. My days are a breath. Yet at the end, Job finally understands there are things too wonderful for me, which I did not know. Suffering does not interfere with the royal status and vocation of humanity. We are still children of God. In the letter to the Hebrews, the writer asks with the psalmist, "What are human beings that you are mindful of them? You have made them little lower than the angels, subjecting all things under their feet." But the writer sees that the world is not yet perfect, and we ourselves are not always benevolent rulers. We so often make a hash of it. What does it mean, little lower than the angels? But the writer says, we see Jesus, who for a little while was made lower than the angels, but is now crowned with glory and honor because of his suffering and death. Jesus is our model, and he calls us brothers and sisters. He is the suffering servant, and we are called to be like him, to serve, to suffer, and to save. John's Gospel says, God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but in order that the world might be saved through him. All the world, the created order, human and non-human alike, wait for salvation. You will probably know something about St. Francis, the saint who loved animals and all creation. He is regarded as the patron saint of ecology. In the Canticle of the Sun, he gives God thanks for brother sun and sister moon, brother wind and water, fire and earth, all of which he sees as rendering praise to God. Quite like Psalm 8, in fact. Francis's life was surrounded by many legends. One legend tells that in the city of Gubbio, where Francis lived for some time, was a wolf, terrifying and ferocious, who devoured people as well as animals. Francis went up into the hills, and when he found the wolf, he made the sign of the cross and listened to his side of the story. And then Francis led the wolf into the town and, surrounded by startled citizens, made a pact between them and the wolf. Because the wolf had done evil out of hunger, the townsfolk were to feed the wolf regularly. In return, the wolf would no longer prey upon them or their flocks and would protect them. In this manner, Gubbio was freed from the menace of the predator. Let me finish with something else I learned this week. Did you know that Psalm 8 was the first biblical text to land on the moon? Apollo 11 was tasked with carrying goodwill messages from Earth. Letters from 73 world leaders were scanned, reduced 200 times, and engraved on a silicon disc the size of a 50-cent piece. The astronauts left it on the lunar surface. The Vatican's message included Psalm 8. O Lord, our Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. What a fitting text to represent planet Earth. I wonder which one you would have chosen.